welcome back to the grand finals of First Strike Europe. We are 2 maps into this best of 5, and things are kind of heating up. I know we had Icebox, but SUMN FC have brought some fire. Now, Jonas, you're probably the one person maybe in the world that's going to be watching that match and feeling excited, not about the map, not about the matchup, but about that Sova on Boaster.
Yes.
So what did he do well and what didn't he do well?
First of all, he had some really good lineups because I have seen them before. But other than that, Boaster was playing really well. And in the past, a lot of people have been talking about how Sova is less ideal on Icebox than other maps like Haven or Ascent, for instance. And in many ways, that's probably true. But Icebox is also a map that is very differently built from A to B. So B is very open, just like Ascent is. And that's also why Sova is so good on Ascent. And what we noticed was that SUMN played towards the B side quite a lot because the B side is so much more open than what A is. So it's about playing to your strengths, I guess, because of course, in like you see here on A side, it's so many corners, so much closed space. So your recon dart will not get a lot of value. But then we also saw a spot here when SUMN was playing defense and Heretics were pushing the B long. They didn't get to clear all their corners and they lost their round because they didn't get info. There we go, there it is. So I know you're supposed to check that corner, but also you could have used one recon dart to check all those corners. Just want to put that out there.
So would you say that Sova is actually viable on Icebox? Because like you said before, not many people think he is.
I think so 100%. I play him there myself and I'm not a pro player or anything, but it works very well for me at least, but that's not to say like that's not a guarantee, but to have some more fuel to the flames if you'd like. 100 Thieves also used Sova on Icebox yesterday with Hiko. And
oh, you know Hiko? No way. You never mention it.
I love you, Hiko. Hi. No, but yeah, no. So I think he's definitely viable, but just like playing with Viper on any other map, you need to have a set playstyle where you can use the strengths of the agent's abilities.
Yeah, I think one of the things about about playing a Sova is essentially...
Viper.
Yeah, sorry, Viper wants to come out. We just had a
it.
Viper versus Viper matchup. Come on, that's what I'm going towards, but I thought I'd give you a little bit more time on the Sova first. It's just that I feel like the Sova play has to be a little bit more nuanced here. When you look at the map, straight away you can say, okay, I can see a lot of problems for Sova mains. But then you start to combine that with the fact that you already have a Viper. It opens up a lot of positions then for post plants. You can shock dart pretty much this whole map. You combine that with a snake bite, and all of a sudden you've got great post plant situations that don't require as aggressive of control. If you're playing more passive, you can actually defend those players. If you have 2 in the back lines, you get a plant somewhere, your post plant can use those alternate angles and those close range fights to defend your players who are playing the utility. So I definitely argue that Sova is viable. It is just very much down to how you like to play. Are you one of the teams that likes to get aggressive and really play those more close range retakes? And then even outside of that, are you going to play so systematically in clearing the angles that you place Sova darts in the right place, you seize the map control and maintain it? Because one of the things on Icebox is it's so big that, okay, you clear this angle with a Sova dart, but you might need to spread out so much to maintain your map control or to fight for it that that information can disappear and become irrelevant in the grand scheme of things throughout the round.
Well, at the end of that map, Jonas was absolutely delighted, but you two, the Viper cheerleading squad, didn't look too happy.
Well,
what were you expecting on Icebox?
I was hoping for a more cohesive action from both teams, to be honest. The gameplay, I feel like this is because this was the first official match on Icebox, probably for both of those teams in general. It felt that it was a lot of improvisation was going there. At the same time, it was a lot of chaos being played by both teams. A lot of weird plays, like a bomber being played behind a wall that didn't really do much.
I think that was a mistake. I think that was a oopsie.
All of those small things kind of sum up the entire feeling about the map. There were a lot of oopsies around from all of the players around the map. Like that Doma, let's say, pocket watch that he was just holding on B long that was a good example of why I think there's not enough experience for the players yet on this map, because they didn't feel comfortable. Evolva on the Viper didn't feel comfortable for me at all. Like one of the things that you instantly see when someone is not well prepared to play an agent or a map like enough is that he is sometimes peeking an angle with a utility out which should have been cleared first. And we have seen that from Avova, we have seen that from other players in this tournament as well. So it was messy, let's say like that. But, you know, one would say, I would anticipate that Icebox will be messy.
Yeah, and I think especially when you take into consideration the fact that Heretics didn't look well drilled. I think this is somewhere that SUMN FC have caught them off guard. Obviously, there was some preparation from Heretics, but specifically in one of those last rounds where we had the defuse go off to get 12 rounds on the board for SUMN, you could see that their idea was to use the snake bite to push the players off the spike. You could see that they had practice in terms of the lineups, the positions to cover for it, and where they were falling back after the plant to set that up. The problem was it wasn't well oiled enough that they knew exactly at what point in that strategy they were at. So the defuse was allowed to go off because the players that are close, who can actually peek and take the fight and push the player off of the defuse, didn't realize that the snake bite wasn't where it needed to be to stop him in time. So he just tanked a little bit of damage. And we talked before, right? If it's a brimstone molly, for example, you're not able to stand in that. But snake bite, it's really the vulnerability that's the primary cause of damage.
You can always get a half of the spike in a snake bite if you, of course, sacrifice your HP as a resource.
Yeah, unless there's also a smoke cloud on top of it.
Yeah, well, then you die.
Yeah, and which brought me to the point in that when you have these kind of very lineup-specific agents like Viper and Sova, and you combine it with playing on a completely new map, of course, you need to like practice a lot. You need to go into a custom game, you need to practice your lineups and make sure they fit. That's step one. But then you need to put it into a team setting and make sure that your team knows how to play around it. That's step two. But then step three is when you get so comfortable with these lineups that you know when to use them. Because we've seen that in this tournament several times, that people have the lineups, people have the plays they want to do, but they're getting so focused on playing it correctly that they forget the timing.
Well, the thing as well is communication obviously is such a big thing.
Yeah.
And in these situations, I think what the problem for Heretics was that they know what they're doing. They have their strat book, they have their plan, but in the chaos of a round, when you cannot sit back and go, okay, so he's just said this thing's happened, so that means there's 3 seconds or whatever. You cannot do it like you're on the server or like you're even in a scrim. The pressure's there, players maybe aren't coming the same, it's a new map, you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
You need to have that well-practiced, well-oiled, and that only comes from playing officials. You have to play games like this to figure out where the problems are. No doubt next time we see Heretics, they'll look a lot cleaner, but for now, you could definitely see those flaws. I don't expect that we'll see that from them again, though, moving on to the next maps in the series.
Well, this was SUMN FC's map pick, and I think we kind of saw why this was a map pick. And I just want to say that they have a 100% win rate with Viper at first strike across 2 maps, which is kind of cool. But we are moving on to Haven next, I believe. And, you know, this is a map that SUMN FC love. They've played this so many times in this tournament. In the qualifiers, I think they only played Haven until the best of 3. So there's plenty of information on them. They're clearly very comfortable on it. And this is the map that they beat FPX on yesterday. Do we think that that's going to happen today, guys? Do we think we're getting a bit of a slight mini reverse sweep of them going from 0-1 down to maybe 2-1 up?
I mean, for me, the fact that straight away we knew there was going to be a 1-0, basically, right? We hadn't been tested on Ascent, whereas, so we knew necessarily because they're banning it, they're not that comfortable on it, and they haven't been for the longest time. Heretics, we didn't know. It was like, can they get stomped out by someone? That was still, considering all the problems we saw from Heretics, and considering it was a pocket pick for SUMN FC, that wasn't that convincing, right? SUMN didn't exactly smash them. Heretics were still able to improvise and get themselves out of a lot of tough situations. So for me, I still have to favor Heretics in this series. I think that they've got the upper hand, at least from what we've seen so far in adaptation. But now that SUMN go back onto their comfort ground and tried and tested, this map will really define how this series is going to go.
Well, the agent select are going on right now. Let's take a look, see if this is where Heretics come out with any surprises that they told us that they were going to show us
I saw
today.
a Phoenix for a second, and I was like, oh, are we going to get a second pick of Phoenix in general in this tournament, which is, by the way, a little bit of information. In NA, Phoenix is very popular.
Yep.
In
Yeah.
EU, he was only picked once.
Well, Boaster was hovering the sky, yep, and Doma is back on that raise. I just want to say that today alone, Doma has played, I think, is his third different agent today? I mean, Jet,
Jet,
Sage, Raze.
yes.
I mean, I don't remember the last time a player in a best of 5 is flexing this many agents. Maybe Link back in the Ignition series
Yeah.
where he could do that. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. We finally get to see him back on the stage. This is the comfort, isn't it?
I love it as well, just to bring up the point you mentioned there, Lothar, about Phoenix over in North America. I feel like, in Europe, we're more the thinking man's game. We like to have those lineups,
God,
those
here we go
strategies, strat books. In NA, there's more, I'm feeling it, let's go for the duels.
You know what's funny? That this every single analyst in every single game says the same. It really is. Is it
Must
a
be the
shooter?
truth.
Is it an RTS? Is it a card game? Is it a auto chess genre? Everyone says the same. Oh, no, they always play more aggro than in Europe. In Europe, control is the way you play.
I mean, there's some truth to it.
Except for G2. Just take
Yeah.
them out before we talk about that conversation and we're good.
I mean, even if we look at Bind, right, we've had a team that basically didn't play any duelists and they just ran away with it. Whereas I think the meme is that in NA they're choosing 3 duelists every game. But that's another conversation when we get to actually see international tournaments. I'm not going to sit here and debate because I am going to get hard flamed for it if I say anything. But you guys, I know that Mitch is Team Heretics for this next one. What about you two?
So I'm kind of thinking Heretics as well. I mean, I feel like one of the reasons why SUMN FC were so strong on Icebox was because of the lack of practice that Heretics had. They looked very unclean compared to the other maps. So with these maps, of course, they've had a lot more time to practice and prepare, and they know very well what kind of play style SUMN FC has on this map, unless they have saved something. So I'm gonna give this map to Heretics.
Yeah, for me as well. I hyped them up the entire tournament, and I think this was the first time where Heretics didn't look like Heretics for me. It was Icebox right now. So I'm gonna go with Heretics. They're gonna take this, and it's gonna be 2-1. I'm gonna see the next map, maybe a draw. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it will be Bind. So Mitch is literally shaking in his
go
chair
for the
right
Vipers.
now. Unlike a best of 3, it doesn't matter or it does matter, but it's not the end of the road for either of these teams if they were to go 2-1 down. But I'm going to hand this over to the caster desk. Pansy and Hypok, take us through Haven.
Yeah, hi, I'm Pansy, this is Hypok, me Excite. I mean, it's simple, right? Like, it's very basic. We now get the middle ground maps coming out. Not those pocket picks, not those weird score lines being overly favorable. And you know what? I've casted a lot of NA. If you're trying to flame Phoenix when they have, like, an op meta out there, like, are we ignoring that? Are we ignoring that, analyst desk? You want to have a chat afterwards? Calling 100 Thieves and Sentinels, not thinking man teams? Ooh, come on now. Come on now.
It was already
don't play
hot.
those games.
It was already hot in here.
Don't
though.
play these games with me. Like, I like EU. I will back EU, but don't come for my boys out there. All right, but back into the game though. Haven is coming up, right? Now, this is more of a middle ground. Yinzu is very much on the side of SUMN FC on this one, kind of saying this is very good through the qualifying process, but this was picked by Heretics.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point. I mean, Lothar and Mitch both made really, really good points about the comfort levels. And
True.
You've got to argue that actually Ascent, Heretics look much better in their comfort zone than SUMN maybe looked in their comfort zone on the Icebox.
Yeah.
The one thing, I mean, it's Heretics' ability to pivot to both ends of the spectrum. Like they look so good on a macro level with this default, the deep default, obviously waiting, gathering information, and then slowly progressing through that territory control. But eyes now for me go over towards Nuki, Niso. They're the ones we're expecting to make plays, but also Lowell, continuing to slay, but also using his utility to take control of parts of the map. And it's that lane control that's a huge factor for Heretics. And we know on Haven, throwing down fakes and whatnot, the mind games can be huge with that. But straight away here, Mo, Recon Bolt, a little bit of information. Well, no information actually gathered off of that, but the lack of can still be used for them. Now he's going to send his old owl drone down towards 8. And he's going to get the tag, but again, nobody really pushing up here. It's a heavy lean over towards C for SUMN initially.
I don't mind it. I don't mind that early posturing. I don't like this over-rotation.
I was going to say, I do mind the fact that they're stacking this way.
I mean, if you want to play retake on C, sure. I guess this is... How much do Heretics know about what SUMN do on this map? Are they specifically prepared? In a best of 5, you kind of have to go big picture. This is where your coaches put in the work. Poor, that is a cheeky little camera. Very hero shot. Looks like the analyst desk at the start. Look at that. But we do see them being very cautious. Look how patient SUMN FC are being. This is insane. They've taken no contact, excluding that owl drone that I think went up A-long. That is the only information thus far until that. So very, very quiet. Now, I don't mind this, but the problem is it leaves up a lot to chance. You could be walking into a gamble stack. You could be walking in blind to anything. You have no information. So these strategies are very risky, and they have to keep that utility now.
Looking as if they're actually going to come back and play right into this stack. Pora, here's the audio. You can see him rotating back through. Niso finds one with a shock dart. Lau gets that wall down. That's going to cut them in. They're stuck in this short cubby right now.
10 seconds. This is going to be a fumble if they don't bang out some shots here. 8 seconds. Where is that spike? It is down. It is not to hand. This is going to be a fumble and a half. SUMN just getting swept aside. The theory there, I get it, but the problem is, let's talk about what can go wrong when you do those late round hits, because we just saw a perfect example of it.
I mean, the whole time that spy cam's there, you saw Pora rotate all the way back over, actually towards A-Link, but he has that information still on C-Long, and again, the camera is deep enough that it doesn't cut down their retake time. The clock doesn't run down because they get the information early enough. SUMN, I guess, waiting for somebody from Heretics to bite, somebody to react off that utility, kind of baiting out the rotation onto A. The fact is, Heretics didn't. They just went all the way through the defensive spawn. They sat deep on the site. They had the utility. I mean, you saw Lowell and Niso utilizing that to cut off the short push from Sewers.
Okay, back in we go. Someone going to have to just kind of sit back on this one. No spike plant means, you know, as I said, credits are going to be very low here. It looks like, is there any investment? I think it's literally an eco. We actually might see a full eco. Bop, 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 bop. Has someone made a song with all the gun sounds yet? I love those.
Should have.
Bop, 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 bop.
But meanwhile...
I'm sorry. Look, it's been a long couple of days. Good, but long.
Niso now set up. Trying to get this work on inside garage. Maybe get a little bit of information, but all of a sudden stacked outside actually over on grass. And Spike making his way back through the spawn now. Problem being, Avova has made his way all the way into sewers. So again, it's a good spot to play. You get the information early enough. If you can peel away and play on site, actually may have caught sight of somebody there because he's actually done just that. But no rotation from Heretics initially. Pora has pushed all the way down C-Long. So all this information is going to be going over to Heretics now. There you see the reaction.
Okay, Avova, let's see how much you can do with this. Does manage to... Oh, actually, no, gets caught in the heels by it. Spike plant could be imminent. That's great work from SUMN here. Now, if they get that spike down, it's game on! Wait, they had no investments this round, and the pistols just got them 3 kills. Spike to be planted any second now, and nice work. Barely seeing an enemy, still keeping this one in check. And now the last 2 alive for the attacking side. What? Doma? How the hell did you just do that?
10 seconds left.
Spike, what is going on here? They need to get it back and get the plant down. Niso could push if he wants to, but he's playing the time. He's playing the angle.
Perfectly timed.
Plays the player. Doma dead, but excellent work from SUMN. I've got to say it. They had nothing in that round.
I mean, Heretics, they literally swung out and wanted to take that brawl on site. Again, maybe to try and bail out Avova. Niso's crouch key getting stuck a little bit there, but we'll move swiftly on. Avova, maybe the factor for Heretics, they wanted to bail him out of that position in hell, but I mean, one by one, Heretics swung out from spawn under the archway there, and they just got absolutely mopped up by the Classics.
That was a great round from SUMN. They don't get the round win, but the damage they're going to do is wonderful. This will first force out an early, bigger repurchase coming in from Heretics, so it will keep that money a little bit more humble, and it also puts a little bit more in the kitty of SUMN here. So you're going to see them back on the rifles, and you can see the money for Heretics, far from perfect. Great round for SUMN.
Good stuff. Avova stuck on a Spectre, Lowell stuck on a Spectre, and 2 Bulldogs. And with the full rifle is Niso. On the other side, as you said, SUMN now full buy back into this. Looking at it now, again, Heretics spread a little thin now in terms of how they're set up. Niso, actually... How has Niso got all the way down?
Take flight.
Niso's actually all the way tucked inside their window.
Fair. When we watched SUMN before, I do recall a couple of rounds where they got hammered by this window push because of their very passive stance. They should be holding this, but I guess the timing is everything. Niso now gives away the game. He knows position is noted, but that's going to be a long clear for Summon to come back into this area. They're going to have to go through utility, invest it early. So it's that exchange of map control given, drawing utility away, and now Summon has to re-clear this area.
Coming out, maybe going to spot these guys down in grass. He's going to see both heads, actually. He does have the Hunter's Fury, not opting to invest it there.
This could be a miscall. This could be a misread of information. Seeing those two in mid might make them lean towards window and C. Whereas actually you can see this contact play up short. Really nice call coming out from the attacking side of Summon here. They are going to get basically a 3v1 against Pora, depending on how this goes down. Yeah, Omen will commit to this. Why not? Sell the fake, sell everything, because now they know, hey, whoa, they are on the A site. Get over here, I need some help. Yes, it's late in the round, and wait, where's the spike? Where is the spike going to come from? They need to get the plant going right about now. Nice work from Chak to keep it safe. Spike is in just.
That was so close as well, with the paint shells coming over the top. But Lowell swings out here, finds Doma, but 2 kills in response from Heretics here. Boaster replies again. Lowell finds another here.
One enemy remaining.
Got to hold on to this one right now. He's tucked behind default. This 1v1 between Mystic and Low. He goes for the jumping classic, doesn't find anything initially, but does find the kill. The third on the round. He's going to put the revive out.
This is huge. Nuki's now back with him. Did he spot him along? I don't think so. Chak needs to play this just perfect. Spike. Still playing for him. Nice position. Can't really do. Ooh, that is dangerous, Chak. Falls away, buys the time, gets the kills, gets Summon the round.
Huge red ball clutch there coming out of Chak. Fantastic work from him, peeling away just at the right time. I mean, it was close there. Nuki nearly caught him on the cross, but what a hold from Summon. Again, an absolute bloodbath over here on A site. Fantastic work once again, though, from Summon. Running the clock down. This is a concern. Again, this was a factor in the Liquid series. We know how many rounds kind of just slipped through their fingers. That paint shell nearly pulled the entire thing apart for Summon.
This is very close. If you're Heretics, you know you've been close to converting some of these rounds, but now the economy has been broken. So they are going to be onto the pistols. Some slightly more invested than others. I see a Frenzy, I see a Ghost, and a little bit of armor as well to boot. So there is a little bit of danger here, and a lot of mid-control garnered, but this approach from Summon is meant to be built to catch this sort of play.
We're going to catch a little bit of contact here in window. Managed to TP out of it, though. Pora very, very close by, actually. Did he just get spotted out by the Aldrin? Yeah, they're going to swing onto this now. Homer picks that one up. And here you go. Actually, already the spike being planted over on C site. And Heretics don't really have control of any of the areas outside, and the rotation is still coming through.
Yeah, Heretics just trying to get cheeky towards middle, but I really like this approach from Summon. I love their default at the start. It's incredibly patient. I think there is a fine line between them leaving it so late that they could walk blind into a stack, but this time they played it very well. As soon as they got that contact in middle, started leaning once they got the pick. And it's left Niso, Avova, and Lol just trying to do some damage on the way out. If they can get guns away, but keep in mind, Summon still have a lot of SMGs on deck. Doma's got his, I think Boaster's got his as well, so it's not exactly a huge purchase either. They you know, it's freebies, they can chase.
Niso finds one, but Boaster spins on it, so being able to recover the Phantom. And Heretics boys are going to opt, obviously, to die out to the spike. 2-2 the scoreline, though, and a good start from Summon, I'm not going to lie. Again, just playing this one passive, waiting out this information. That concern still sits there for me, though. If the game plan kind of revolves around running the clock down, how many times that kind of comes to bite them in the behind.
Hey, until it does, I'll give it, you know, a bit of credit. We saw the downside of it earlier on with that kind of A piece that they just ran into.
Yep.
But when it comes to full buys, that's when I'm going to start getting a little bit more interested if they kind of go to this. But I want to see if Heretics maybe start toying around some defensive side aggression. I'm looking towards A long. It does look like could be a touch of the case. And yes, commitment of utility already coming through. Short is going to get pressured quick. Who is on the other side? Sage and Cypher. It looks like Pora's there. Lol's there. Look at this utility. They are pouring it in. It's caught one of them at the very least. Raze is now around, but Lol still waits. He did well from here before. Tries to turn the flashes preemptively. He doesn't give away the game. He's still standing. Lol just absolutely eviscerates Summon. They did not check the corner, and Lol is the absolute animal waiting.
What a hero play from him, and again, the timing absolutely perfect. The wall lines up, creates a little cubby for him. Paranoia comes through. He plays it perfectly, swings out just as Summon feel as if they've cleaned it, but a little bit of a lazy swing on that angle. Again, that wall has become a factor twice now in rounds. Whether or not that becomes a continuing trend, I don't know, but Lowell doing absolute work from that position. Again, very, very good hit from Summon, though. You can see the utility synergy.
Yep.
It was fast, it was aggressive. And again, clearing out some key angles to get into the front line of the site.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense what they're doing. Although going through the motions again, this is a very similar routine for him. But it looks like a lot more attention towards middle this time, at least to start with from SUMN. Nothing too mad commitment-wise. Mystic is definitely showing a lot of potential of playing through to this. Drawn 2 players to be dedicated. You can see that Sage floating around the back to support by that B to C connector. Miso, though, in response, going to get a little bit more information towards A. I like this proactive defending sides. This gets me excited because now look at the information that Niso has garnered. No one's coming A yet. I can sit here. I can hold this. You guys can maintain that C and B presence.
Yeah, that's a Chak putting down a little bit of utility. Maybe Niso going to hear this. He's going to have the audio cue. Whether or not he relays this to his teammates and they act upon it. But Nuki and Pora have been so good for this mid control. Again, leaning away from window SUMN FC. So kind of giving this up. But again, you don't really gain an awful lot from these sight lines. You've got to push all the way out for it. But here we go. The stack towards C-Long. One member pushing over towards Garage. Actually, the jump spot from Avova. And immediately the utility comes down. He clears out the nano swarm. So actually, he's going to be able to remain in this position.
30
for now.
seconds left.
Lova's trying to dodge everything, all that utility being thrown in. It is a 2-for-1 trade out so far. Favorable to SUMN, but they're not on the site just yet. Still working up C-Long, still have Nuki to deal with, who's tucked in the corner. Crossfire holds, Avova gets contact. The swing works out though. Mystic and Mo both there, leaving Avova. The 1v2, he's isolated another. Great work from Mystic to make sure that didn't spiral too far.
Really, really good stuff. Coming through with the trade on that late lurk through Garage. Again, just waiting on the rotation as soon as it doesn't come through. He's not sat there. He's still being productive with his position. So nice hit from SUMN. Again, it comes down to the wire in terms of, I guess, the 1v1 you could call it. Over unlucky here. Again, he did get tagged up a little bit from the utility on the way in. A good execute so far from SUMN.
Yeah, and Heretics' money is going to get kind of broken at this point, kind of sitting at max around 2.1. So you're going to see them kind of opt for something a little lighter. Pora being set into motion by that pre-fire towards window, so you can get posted up nice and close. But this should be a clean one for SUMN. We're going to start looking at it like that, even though this buy is a little bit more invested than before.
Nuki, interesting enough, obviously going to play the Vandal here, as you said. Whether or not they're going to opt to... it looks like they're stacking him over to C, just play that long angle. Whether or not anybody's going to peek into that. But Spike once again making its way towards A. Niso with the frenzy down in sewers. Got to be careful here. Both are actually going forward with a Spike, but looking like they're going to stack up now. They're going to clean it. This is what you want to see. Doubling up, systematically clearing corners. It's fine. It's a trade. Hopefully still going to be able to get in, but actually elsewhere another trade comes through.
Yeah, a little interesting to see that go down. Now the other 3 remaining for the attacking side are going towards where the rotations are coming in. They do have superior weaponry, though. Keep that in mind. This should still be a safe plant with the smoke in play. But look at that quick rotation around the back. And a res. They are really investing into this one now. Spike is planted, and you're going to see the ultimates coming through. That is going to be a jump down. Mystic can't make it away in time. Caught as he tried to TP Mo and Chak in the post plant. Now it's just Mo. He's got already so much pressure coming his way. He knows he's under so much scrutiny. All the utility is there. The defuse is going to come through. Avova's on it. He can't do anything. Heretics picking up a half-bolt round here.
Really, really good stuff. I mean, Nuki getting that nade back online from that second kill. Like you said, Mystic desperately trying to TP away from this position in Hell, not getting boxed in, but very, very good retake from Heretics. Again, the revive comes through. They bide their time. They wait until they're all in position until they explode out.
That was a Playzilla Thrifty, and that was a good one too. I love this. Now, I actually didn't mind this at all. That's kind of, you know, you're trying to manage the amount of threats you could have. And the trade was there. But after that, it got so sketchy. That mid-play, the investment of the res coming in as well. This is where things do get a little scary, but overall scoreline-wise, if we look at side bias on the map, what is an expected scoreline between 2 even teams? Where do we see this generally sit?
That goes there.
I mean, you can go blow for blow on this. Again, it's very easy to convert those weaker buys here. Again, A, fantastic for the SMG hits. Also, I mean, we saw what they did with Classics, not even the SMGs on one of their ecos. But I mean, this one for me leans slightly towards the attacker's side, but it does vary. I say that. I mean, they've pretty much got free entry in here. Niso does catch that combo with the Shock Dart and the Hunter's Fury. I'm sure Jonas will love to see that one. The Spike's still going down.
Okay. Mystic needs to hold this. They still need to hold the line here. That's where that weaker weaponry, that slightly lower HP is going to come into effect. It's going to be tricky now. That retake does need to get going, though. Mo's going to push forward, but they're down to just 2. Looking at this, it's Heretics playing it back in, and they kept it very clean. They give up the plant, but they keep 5 alive.
Very, very good stuff from Heretics there. And again, I mean, able to get access into site very, very easily, it seems. Again, lighter buy, so you got to argue that's the reason they're not able to hold on to it and maintain, but good entry nonetheless. And Heretics seem to be leaning away from C. And that's interesting. Again, not really one of the easiest to retake, but the important thing is not allowing SUMN FC to get good, deep post-plant positions, i.e. backside of garage in towards window, over towards that defensive spawn, you know, all that access to backside. Very, very crucial for the defending team to hold on to.
I know it's easier said than done, but I wish someone were able to deal with the presence that Niso's had towards short constantly. He's getting them so much information, but a fast mid-piece would completely circumnavigate this, but good damage coming out. Pora there just going to be spamming away as well. They are just purely in mid this round. The Extremity's already going to have information on it, considering we have the push-up from LoL. Nuki dies bold. Wide peeking into mid like that, I think that was a little desperate for information. Unnecessary, you may argue. Jack is going to do well to get the kill on that one. And now Pora needs to peel away. They've lost control. Look at the pace coming out from this take towards window. They have the positioning, but Avova, he's still here. He hears the steps, he sees the players. He's going to wait for it. He takes down 1. He doesn't get the second. Mo quickly keeps things going favorable.
Too late.
Or actually swinging wide on that one as well. Boaster good for the trade, but Niso now trying to put all of his utility in. But this flank, look at it. Lol all the way deep on long, finds the headshot. Once again, the consistent slayer for Heretics, and he's always putting himself in such powerful positions.
Again, early and late round, LoL is being incredible. The information he got on A long then, I was mostly looking towards a Sova for doing it, but I guess the Sova on rotation, you see them at B right now. But at that point, LoL had held long, so they knew exactly where this plan was coming through to. I like the pace coming out from SUMN through towards window. That was very hard to handle, but the problem is their money's going to be in a bad spot. They could maybe force a purchase, but it'd be far from perfect.
Indeed, and you can see Sheriffs across the board. I'm sure Lothar's happy to see that. Couple of ultimates online here for SUMN. They got the lockdown and the Rolling Thunder. Flip side of that, just the neural theft for Heretics. So, you can expect Heretics to play this disciplined. They're going to try and close the distance here, play these long angles with the rifles. Let's see if someone can find any value.
That's what we're waiting on. Anyone offering themselves up for a pick, anyone gets too aggressive. You can see a very drastic difference. That's Sova this time, nowhere near short. No one's pushing up in a lazy manner. It's all very deep and defensive towards the sites. You're going to have Pora now, going to be getting a lot of contact though. Boaster has to be cautious. Does spot out everything that's required. And the attack and Killjoy are actually going to put it down. So this does look they are quite invested into this. Jack is going to try and at least get them a spike plant, which does seem as though they're going to get here.
Yeah, the lockdown cuts off so much space here. Pora able to tuck into heaven though. So maybe going to be able to find a kill here. Does swing out, reveals his position because of the turret. And actually, the breach utility going to clear out that corner as well. Pora needs to stay alive though. Creates himself a little tunnel to get down into hell if he goes through. But here comes the retake. Niso lines up the recon bolt. Going to explode out onto this now. Actually, the nade gets invested. Rolling Thunder in response as well.
Yeah, they've got to get this one going, though. The time is starting to tick. SUMN's still got so many players standing. Even though it is dicey, they are still pouring bodies out. This on the spike we go. He's going to hold it. Niso, the wall comes up. Hold on. Just body block it. They can't stop this. Niso does it in front of them. Boaster could only watch as the spike gets diffused, but what a nice intention from SUMN, but great play again from LoL.
We talked about it. Again, he's the early round kind of territory control. The way he's used his utility in the early round has been fantastic. But one thing, time and time again, in the retake scenario, he always seems to save it. On the rounds that he won't find value with it in the early round, he's always got it when it's necessary.
This did get sketchy, though.
Oh, yeah. For a moment there, yeah.
It did get very sketchy. The amount of players alive, a 5v5 retake from basically 2 angles is pretty rough, but very well handled. 7-3 scoreline now, starting to look quite nice for Heretics, but only one side of it. Fast pace coming out now. This is much different, but there is the exchange of control. 2 players do take long control for the defensive side, whereas Raze and Boaster are actually pushing up towards short, so now the information now flows through. Heretics, they've seen it all.
Pora actually swung all the way out from long there, but again, it's this fake coming out from SUMN. We saw this previously from them. Again, they invest the raise and the breach over, the utilities revealed, and actually it draws the rotation out of Heretics. Now the kills come back over, Spike goes down onto C, and SUMN are able to set up.
Yeah, SUMN are in much better post-plant positions, obviously with much better weaponry. Mystic is tucked on the site though of Overs there. Nuki, he's there so quick, they didn't expect it. The timing was bad. But let's look at Mo. Where is that going to be coming from? Already hear it being popped. There it is. He's going to be on the spike. Nuki finds Doma, but it's on Mo to keep this one safe. Was it too early? And now nades come down. He's being locked out. The defuse comes in. He tried, and try as he may. It did not work out.
Yeah, and the problem with that, again, if you're wondering, the Hunter's Fury obviously a huge factor in the post-plant, but the other members of SUMN FC not able to run the clock down enough, so he has to invest it. At that point, he's committed. He's so far deep on C-Long, he has no entry back on the site. And again, Nuki's able to close the distance as well whilst he's still in there.
Just making sure he's dead, I think that is.
Oh,
Double tap?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, you know, when that player icon appears,
you don't know.
Yeah,
You don't. It's you know it's terrible when your key gets stuck, and then sometimes you're like, oh, are they dead or not? I don't know. 8-3 though, scoreline's down, looking quite nice for Heretics. I still want to see if SUMN have more to give once they get their turn on the defensive side. But 3 rounds is a small buffer. I'd like maybe 4 if we could get that on the board. It gives you that little bit more to play with. And to be fair, their strategies are getting them on the site. They're getting them the spike plants, but those post plants. The information the defending side has right now, look at this again. Pora does have the op-out, and he's got support towards Long as well. He has that Sage there. Lol now feels the presence. All right, wall goes up. You don't get any freebies. Get out of here.
And Mo going to relay this information again. A lot of presence shown A side, which is going to force SUMN over onto the C. Now, got to be careful of Over tucked all the way up on Plat. He does destroy the ult, actually, and now here comes the hit through. The recon bolt going to reveal him. Nuki and Doma find it. Doma finds a second now, and that's going to be site controller going over to SUMN FC.
Huge work from Doma. You can see the damage trying to be done, but Heretics are cut off from this. The rotations are on the way. Lol, he's about to be around on Long. You gotta be careful now. Look at the time being bought. Lol's flank is gonna be huge when they go for that spike plant, but they can't do it right now. Still locked on the side. They go back for it, but a safer plant this time. Lol cannot stop this, but he can stop one. He can stop 2. He's looking for more. They are so tunnel vision towards that defensive side that Lol has been given too much freedom. And now Mo and Mystic desperate to hold on, but backs posed towards the side. They're getting sprayed down. Pora, he's done enough. There it is. But Lol again, the absolute agent of disaster in this.
Just slaying, absolutely slaying. And it's always such high value kills from him. Again on this long flank, down on C. Just fantastic sightlines from him. And again, it forces the players of SUMN FC onto backside. The crucial thing being there as well, he still had utility. If he wanted to hold him in, Niso sends through the recon bolt, so it's not necessarily crucial towards winning that round, but wow, what a retake once again from Heretics. Both of these teams have looked so good on retakes so far across this series.
And it's such composure, and this is kind of, when I talk about like mid-round calling, it does also apply to retakes, because it's very much, you know, on the fly sort of things. You don't know exactly what you're going on to. I would say SUMN, I love some of their scripted site hits. Very creative, very robust, thought through. But then these mid-round retakes coming out from, you know, Heretics, the on-the-fly calls, they're kind of just intuition. Really nice. It looks like we could be having a little bit of fun there if Lol decides to go for it. But obviously the side switch now.
Well, you make a good point, because I was talking about how good Heretics look when they kind of swing both ways. They're good at these fast, aggressive hits, but also they look so comfortable when they sit back and they just wait to react. They can play very, very loose. They swing back on. I'm thinking back to the Ascent round over on B main when obviously someone tried to execute out there, invested a lot of utility, Jet coming through mid as well. A couple of ultimates sent out. The thing is, Heretics kind of cover both bases. And I feel as if SUMN look much, much better when it's rehearsed, it's choreographed, they have all this utility to rely on. They don't necessarily have to take these awkward gunfights. So it's an interesting thing to consider going forwards.
Okay. Now coming on the second half, SUMN needs to get a bit of a grip on this. Now we've seen them, not necessarily, I don't say polarizing, we've seen some really good looks from SUMN, and then we've seen a very quiet SUMN. I hope we get to see the good SUMN come out here, because again, thus far, Ascent, very one-sided, of course. Icebox, I'd say it was good for SUMN, but not incredible. They won the game, but I think the desk was very diligent in the way they approached it.
Yes.
That SUMN were better, but it wasn't as clean. It wasn't your 13-1. It was still just, you know, more experience shown through. So again, you know, it was decent, but not incredible. Now, Haven, we have got a good scoreline coming in for Heretics, but it's not completely one-sided. But I want to see that good look from SUMN. That SUMN that we saw taking down FPX. Bear in mind, this is the team that beat Angel. This guy's like a god of FPS. If you don't know who Angel is, you have not been around long enough. You gotta learn that man's name. And SUMN took the game away from them. But we are into this one. We are live in the second half here. Heretics now get their turn to try and bring the pain to SUMN on the defense. And SUMN need this pistol.
Do indeed. 2 stacked over on a site for SUMN. Heretics looking for a little bit of early contact, but after they get no bite, going to swing back towards mid. And actually, Doma going to play close contact with a frenzy here. Smoke goes down the top of C-Long as well. Going to maybe bait out a little bit of a rotation. And as the Owl drone comes through, actually a couple of players from SUMN FC leaning towards C-Link. The spike is heading towards long, so Mystic got to be careful here. He doesn't want to play an angle where he hasn't got a teammate to help him out.
Bear in mind, that quick little pause we had was a tactical from SUMN, so maybe just trying to get that mojo going, try and get that feeling into that second half, get that mentality there. Yeah, good work from Mystic. Evacuates the site, steps away. Okay, we'll play retake. We'll take that control. Look already at, I'm looking at Raze, I think there, yeah, towards that double door area. No one's there, so definitely could flex down a little and try and take
30
mid.
seconds
Well,
left.
the big thing for SUMN here, I'm seeing a lot of utility for Mo.
planted.
I'm seeing both of the utilities still online and Mystic, so they have a lot of tools in their arsenal. We're actually TSAC going to come all the way through. Nisto and Low respond. Oh my, what the trade back and
Player
forth.
remaining.
This is so brutal, but it's just Nuki now in a 1v2. Boaster, you can see the adrenaline pumping right now. Nuki, oh, he's got 11 HP, but he's got the time. Boaster now, he's on the spike. He's holding it down, he's got it halfway. He's not getting off it, Nuki. You've got to beat this, he gets it. So well played by Nuki. A valiant attempt by Boaster, but just outdone.
I mean, they absolutely, I wasn't even expecting them to explode out of that smoke so quickly. They had so much utility to line up. It doesn't seem as if they sent the recon bolt in, no shock darts to clear out those angles, and it didn't even, I mean, I might have missed it, but there was no breach utility. Actually, it did come through there as
Yes.
it popped out, so the explosion on the back of that flash was the green light for the retake.
Okay, Heretics, this is scary. This is where you've got the lead here. And if you're SUMN, it's not how you wanted that to go. Down to a 1v1, but it was a tricky scenario for Boaster. There's no good way out of that. He was forced into a predicament. But now let's look at the buy. Doma, hello. What we got coming out here?
I love a Bucky.
You have a little Bucky?
Love a Bucky.
I honestly, when this game first came out, I just like, the judge is broken. Allow me to sit in window room or hookah with this bad boy and just be awful at the game. However, LoL going to be playing contact, so basically going quiet until he meets an opponent, no utility shown, and then they'll burst if they do get contact. And Mo would be the one to get that, so it's going to be actually a tougher fight than maybe the rest of them would have, but for now Boaster's got a little SMG too. They've got a fair crack of utility on the newly appointed defending side, utility being forced in now, and here we go. Site take does begin. It shouldn't be contested too heavily. You can see Mo maybe has something to say about the matter. That's one. Any damage? Look towards Avova. He's fine for now.
Yeah, not as much damage as I was expecting off that. The heal can have come straight back through from Lowell as well, so Avova gets back up to 100 HP. Boaster actually now looking some pressure onto Graffiti. Recon Bolt comes through now. That's the go signal here for SUMN. They do find the first one in. Actually not pushing through quick enough
Not
here.
again.
Lowell, they're tucked again in this angle.
How does he keep getting away with this though? But now it's just Mystic. Where is he in this? On the side itself, Niso's playing this so calm, so patient. Nuki's going to take the first bit of contact. The Mystic's still alive. He's still trying to do something, but he's being kept at arm's length. There is no fun allowed here. Heretics want this done.
11-3. And we talked about who looked better in their comfort zone. This, actually, you know, I mean, Insu's talked about how many times they played Haven leading up to this. A little bit of a surprise on my part, I'm not going to lie. So, I mean, we talked about Bind, and, you know, the members of SUMN FC themselves, Minnie had said, you know, actually, Bind's our weakest point. They came out, they put on an absolute masterclass, what we saw the other day. To say this is their most comfortable, I guess their most rehearsed, most practiced leading up to this is a concern.
It certainly is, and I think the fundamentals being shown by Heretics are incredibly strong, though. I want to really highlight that. They are playing a very well-rounded game. And now with the control of the economy here, they should be able to take it slightly further. Sheriff's being shown off. Mystic, go on. Do some damage with the thing. I still think Sheriffs and Deagles, any of those in any game, are just some of like the sexiest like kills in a game. You know what I mean? It's just like,
try explaining that to Lothar. It actually tilts him to see it.
What? How? How can you be mad at that gorgeous work? Jack, thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to you, Jack, and a fine lol. Bosa gets to re-aggress towards middle, maintains some of that presence, but Avova quickly takes it away. And now Heretics do need to be careful. With Pora being a little lower than before, those sheriffs, those pistols, get a little spicier.
Spike goes down on the seat. Heretics all the space and time in the world to set up for this. As I say that, Nuki actually gets spotted out by Doma with the Sheriff, can land the headshot. Gotta be careful here, because Pora's down to just a lick of HP. Avova and Niso still looking pretty healthy. And actually, Mo gonna find that. Pora good for the trade. He's got to get back over, though. Chak and Doma both low HP. Niso gonna send out some shock darts here. Does find the headshot to Doma as well. And just one man standing. Chak will fall. Heretics post their 12th now.
Okay, here we go. It's starting to look a little worrying, to say the least. We need a big turnaround here. Once those bigger guns get brought into the hands of SUMN, they've got to do something with them. And I worry for SUMN in this. I hope they were prepared for Heretics. Keep in mind, if you're SUMN, you knew that you had FPX for a long time. You knew that was a game that you were going to have and you could directly get ready for. We've heard time and time again, you know, Boaster, he wanted to be Angel. You know, this guy, you looked up to him, his playstyle. But how prepared could they be for Heretics? This playstyle is different. This is strong fundamentals, very hard-hitting players. So, in we go. And Heretics, keep in mind, these are the Titan Slayers. Don't take them lightly. They are the new blood of Europe right now. They are nuts at what they do. But SUMN do have rifles out.
Do indeed. Again, I mean, a lot of mid-presence here shown from Heretics. Again, just waiting for something to be shown to them. Lowell will wall off the right side of B, but all this is the route. A little bit of a fake actually. The utility from Killjoy can spot it out. Chak in a weird spot there. Always swings from Garage, you're always going to lose that one.
Yeah, and they're trying to pull towards the side. Mystic's the one holding. You can see the free fire on the right side. Ultimate's being popped. Doma's found low. Wait, they're still in this. SUMN are desperate to hold on, but look at the scenario now. Heretics are tucked on the side. This is not a good post plant. There is still danger. Boaster and Mo with it all to do to save the side, at least in this map for now. Boaster finds one. He needs more. Second one wins it. Boaster is still fighting for his side. Nuki, the nade comes out. He'll buy him time. Nuki's pushing back in. Boaster saves his team for one more round.
Wow. What a retake. Do you know what? Right there, it looked like a little bit of split focus. Mo tucked all the way back in defensive spawn. Boaster just walking out to sight. Absolutely ego challenging on. Finds all three, though. Fantastic work from him there. I mean, the question comes, what have SUMN FC got left in the tank? Have they shown us their best form? Can they follow up in it? Can they convert the story they've written here at First Strike?
Boaster has been an absolute leader for this squad.
He's looked fantastic today.
He has. He has come out swinging. First map, I was worried. I was genuinely worried that that was going to be too flat and he was not going to rebound, but he has. He's come back incredibly strong here, and that round just secured value. He may not be the top fragger right now, but you can see the value to the kills, but it is still map point against them. Pora with first contact, going to fall away from that on short. Look to retaking and re-aggressing towards A long. No subtlety to this one. They're heading right through towards A.
A slow push through. No audio cues, which has obviously drawn this rotation from Doma. You can see on the minimap he's gone all the way back over to A link. Playing pretty deep, but 5 men from Heretics here. Now he's going to come back, but the dark cover comes through, cutting off Heaven and the defensive spawn. Heretics going to get themselves in. Mo needs to convert some of the shock dart damage this time around. Maybe try and stop that, but once again, nothing off that utility.
They needed something here, some damage, something more than this. Pora's a little lower, sure, but it's really not much. Mo trying to find some information, get them away back in. Oh, and there we go. This is going to get problematic. This is going to be trickier for Heretics. Maybe time for that retake to start building, but they have to find a pick soon. Doma's going to be given the first one. That's the start. Avova going to try and time it just right. Player is detained. Avova is not, but that is a great check from Chak. Going to find Avova. Nade comes out. We're down to Nuki and Lol. Nuki going to try and fly himself in there. Too many targets, and the defuse comes through. SUMN live to fight one more round again.
Really, really good retake there again. I love the way Avova tried to play his ult there. Coming all the way out, waiting for the lockdown to expire and popping back in. But SUMN, they're smart to the trick. They come through, they clear through. Fantastic retake. Once again, how many times have we talked about it? They can show up in these retake scenarios, Lauren.
I mean, how many times has LOL gotten away with like sitting like next to that wall? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you got to be checking that now, right? I love that idea, but these retakes are so well choreographed coming in from SUMN. Lovely, lovely work from the guys. So credit where it's due to them. Heretics might need to take a second to consider, but they still have so many rounds to play with. The money running a little low, but in this game with all that utility, it can definitely even the playing field.
Hopefully another one here. SUMN can convert. Again, scrappy by Lowell with the rifle. Nuki on the Marshall of over with the SMG. But pistols elsewhere for Heretics. Hunter's Fury actually going to get invested here. Goes on. Niso going to find Chak. Seemingly free Mystic as well will fall. That's 2 free kills for Heretics onto
Not
C side.
like this. This is not how you lose it, surely. Boaster desperate to hold on, but taking so much flack. And now Heretics know they've got such an advantage. Pora has just come around on the flank like an assassin in the night. A dagger to the back. And SUMN are down to Mo. Position noted. Heretics have just turned all of those screws and made this one hurt.
Spike
With the
planted.
spike now down, Mo has to go above and beyond for his side. Step by step, Heretics will work out where he is. Will it be Pora to get the first bit of vision? It is. Mo now knows he has to play into this. There's no two ways about it. And he can't get past the first step. Pora!
Attackers win.
Stuff of nightmares there from him.
Just the longest look. This man just seems to be alive for the longest time in some of these rounds. And again, you look over to the minimap and you think, when's he going to make his move? When's he going to pounce? And right there, you show the situation Pora finds himself in time and time again. But I mean, this hit coming through, Niso finding 2 with the Hunter's Fury on the way in. Just absolute insanity. Again, this is on a scrappy buy. Scrappy buy that Heretics are able to turn around and convert. Absolute heartbreak for SUMN FC on Haven.
Yeah, that's not how you want it to go down for them by any means. A closer game would have given you a bit more confidence. You can see Boaster, has to keep that chin up now. This is getting tricky because it's not, a best of 5, it feels like that marathon, but at the end of it, it's now a 2-1. Now things are getting a little dicey. And what's the next map coming up? If I'm not mistaken, it is going to be Bind.
Now, this is an interesting talking point. Like I said, Bind, supposedly, what SUMN say is their weakest map. Or, I mean, that's coming from the interview. Again,
Okay,
we saw Ascent. I'll leave that out for discussion, but they did say that that's the one actually that they felt least prepared for. So it's an interesting factor. Heretics, you got to say, momentum-wise, they've got all the confidence, and they're winning these confidence gun battles as well. Lowell, Niso, Nuki, time and time again finding these kills.
I mean, some of those flanks, some of that positioning, that map control. Heretics are playing an incredible game. I feel like these guys have just been building in the shadows of all those bigger names, all those Colossus. We talk about your G2s, your Liquids. Oh, we were looking at them. These guys have been grinding, and they have some incredible players and some very strong fundamentals. SUMN really need to dig deep, and honestly, I'm happy to look back at those Prime Gaming highlights, but I really want to hear what the desk have to say about this one, and especially that next map.
One enemy remaining. Spike planted. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Nowhere to run!
Hello everyone, I'm Pansy, and if you're new to the Valorant competitive scene, here's some lingo to get you up to speed. So, let's get started. Crossfire. 2 or more players holding a common angle, but from different directions. This way, when an opponent peeks, he is being shot simultaneously in his front, back, or side. Crosshair placement. Keeping the crosshair on a proper level and distance from the angle they're holding. So when an opponent peeks, he is putting himself perfectly into your static position. Crosshair placement is the most crucial skill in Valorant. Bait. Using a teammate or utility to capitalize on their death or distraction. A tactic many players try to master. Lurk, or lurking, is when a player slightly separates from the rest of the team, with the goal to maintain control of the map and potentially killing any players while rotating.